Blessed day to you. I love when inspiration strikes, don't you? So welcome to my channel. Sit back, relax and enjoy. It is of inspiration, dear ones, that we are to be felt, is to be willing to present to you in this way, to feel, to flow through in these words that are to be spoken of as love. It is in this love that is an entitlement to all that are willing to open of their hearts, to see of self in this likened space of love, to be a willing contributor into a sensing of this that one is to be known by themselves to be. For we are the loving beings of all that is. And to feel of this inspiration to flow through oneself is to be a divine intervention, would it not be, to call of it to be that, to be spoke of in this way? It is a willingness that must rise from out of you, this physical form, to be a seeing of, a believer of, a wanter of, and a knower of all that you are to hold within. For it is of this physical form, dear ones, that we are willing to congratulate you on, in a sensing of this that you have chosen to be, to become in this place of presence to see. It is in this knowing that one was deliberate to be a picky chooser, shall we say, in regards to all that one feels as to be needed in this contribution to participate here in this reality or realm of this life upon this planet to see. We are known as the beings of love and eternal grace. To be spoken of in this way is to be in acceptance by you or not, deciding as to whether these words are to fit or fill you with a sense of respect or recognition out of oneself, to gain control again over the mind that is to think, the human process of thought that is to it oftentimes we witness to, the much disregard to the human voice that is to speak, that is attached to the heart space. This voice that is willing to come forth, to hold its hand up as if to say, please hear me now. For we are this voice, we are this interaction that is to flow through in this way, to be your voice heard in this loving embrace. Feel of these messages as they are to come through, dear ones, in a sensing of a recognition, in a sense of to resonate, to vibrate within you, to stir up even just the slightest contribution in regards to this that you may be. For it is in this place of non-coherent backlash, to be willing to ignore the human mind, to ignore that human voice that interacts so readily on a daily basis with you. Be willing to change one's aspect of you. Allow of this human form to be negotiated with, shall we say, to become a suggestion to be a willing listener to the heart space that is to speak, to become reacquainted with the gut interpretation, allowing the mind's eye to blend into this life that you are, to transform and challenge old views and mistruths, to be non-wanting to hear of the human voice that has talked to you on several, if not many occasions in regards to of this that you are to think of self to be. For it is in this way, dear ones, that we are loved to be interpreted, to be felt of one's heart to open, to feel of the human physical form to subside and give way, to release the constant struggle of human life or human experience just for a small moment of your so-called time. To be willing to allow for this energy, this connection, and however it is to feel for you to flow. To be willing to sit in this space of just oneself to be not in need to establish this relationship with another. For it is this concurring event that we are to recognize, that many of you are to require of an outer or an exterior certainty to become, to be seen, to witness into. It is of the place of inner truth that much development is to become known to you again. It is the inner truth, the wisdom that you are to carry so efficiently within, that is to become your go-to, the go-to guide that is to be yours to sit into, to ask, to become trusting again of this person, so that the outer exterior may become the friendly source of information, to become the observer, the witnesser, the interpreter of all that one is to see, but to allow for another layer or another level to be placed upon that, where you may sit to observe for a while. To be not in a haste to make decisions quickly, but to keep that ear open for that inner voice that is to become yours to recognize, this sensor of self to be, to feel of this voice that is to flow through this one freely in a sensing of all it is that we are to be. For we are the prominent beings of love and light that are to shine upon you with eternal grace in this entirety or this completeness of all it is that you are to envision of self to be. It is in this way that we are to view of you all, in this pleasantry, in this presentation of it is that you are to often feel as though you are to be swimming in amongst it all, trying to fight or see your way out past this presence, this perception of you. Yes, this perception of you was once so chosen to become a body of information, to become a character, to become this certain representation, this physical form or image of what it is that you appear to be, was a needing, dear ones, for you to interact in this way that you are to do with many. But it is this inner being, dear ones, this soul that is to light of you in such a expression to be spoke of as bold. It is this soul that is enticed entirely by the largeness of all it is that we are to be. We are the interaction of many that are to be perusing, shall we say, of all it is that you are to be. We are divine interactors that are to be present in every placement of this that it is that you are. Be not felt as imposed upon, to be thought of as to be peered at or looked upon in this way as if to disrespect one's privacy. For that is just a human way to view of us to be. It is to be this knowing that we are presently placed in all of everything that is to be seen, that is to be spoken, that is to be. It is in our realization of this that we are to be considered the one entirety of all that is. And to know of oneself, dear ones, to hear of this that you are to be placed into this entirety of all it is. To be encompassed and to be felt as if to dissipate into this state of awareness. that, yes, we recommend is achieved by many in this meditative state or this quiet contemplation where one can dull down that human brain to think or to speak these words out loud as if to say, you're doing it wrong. Take those words back, dear one, and allow oneself to know that you have got it spot on, that you are exactly right, that you are this perfection in this place that you are to stand, that you are this beauty that is to shine from within. Recognize of this again. Allow oneself to look deeper, to feel of this love that you are to acknowledge once again, and watch as it is to borrow and take you inwardly, not on a search of something to find, but to find of self settled within, in this great knowing of all it is that you are, of all it is that you are here to become, you have. And to continue of this journey in this path of light, this tunnel or vision of immaculate being. For it is here, dear ones, the supreme beings of love and light that we are to be felt as an ever-present, stationed passenger or participant that is to become a willing interpreter for you in these words that you are to speak of self, to say. Regather or regroup, we say here. Allow of oneself to neglect of all old misconceptions. For it is here, dear ones, that we are wishing of one to hear, to feel of this newness appear, to feel of this beginning, or of this to start from within. A connection again to this word love. For it is this love that one must feel of themselves in a place of which it is that many of you are to offer to us in a sensing of to begin. Know of this, dear ones. The beginning or the becoming of you was in the very first start of your asking of this to be thought of as a suggestion by you. But it is present here in this earthly realm when one is to call of self again, to connect and allow this vibration of love be felt to never stray, and to feel of it to rise on up, maybe in a daunting sense of it to be there, but in a requiring of oneself to ask, to be trusting again, to become passionate again about all it is that you are. Allow for this light to radiate outwardly. Allow for oneself to stand in this presence of the divine being of all that is. The love, the God, the ascended masters, the spirited beings of all that is, the far outstretching reaches of eternity that is to hold of us in such a blessed, knowing way. For it is when one is to start to train their thoughts, to be willing to pull back into oneself, to be in a sensing of this to ask, to know in this truthful space of which it is that you are, that you will hear these voices of us to speak. Knowing that the voices that you are to connect to is to be your truthful voice from within, to be ever guided, to be gently persuaded, to be always constructed into a sensing of this that we are to become. For it is of your outlook, dear ones, that we are, in regards to you, to become known to, that all possibilities and capabilities are for your interpretation to see oneself into. Be willing to change the view, dear ones. We offer this on many occasions. And it is of many that speak in this way, that speak of these words to say or utter, of what you see shall be. It is a timely process upon this planet that we are to witness the many of you humanoids in this sensing of this to ask this way, to be felt truthful to oneself, to be felt bold enough, to be feeling strong enough and accepting enough of this being that you are presented here. Ask away, we say, for it is of our duty into this of which it is that we are to be ever expressors of love, to be spoken of in this way, that we are in all entirety to be encompassing of you in a respect of all that you be, do, say and are, to become this validation again from within, to become this spokesperson of love that you are requiring of self to see. It is in this timely place, dear ones, that we are to feel of your presence. We are to feel of your awareness into this that you are, to feel of this slight niggle that is to knock at the door of your heart, so to speak, to become a willing awareness of more in this capacity of which it is that you are. We love of you here in this place of presence, to feel of your energy as you are to contemplate these thoughts and these messages in this way. But be willing here, dear ones, to know of us in every way that we are pleasantly placed in all of everything that is. We are the loving beings of eternal grace. We are the lighted loves that are to light your heart. We are in this sensing of you to be spoken of in this way. We are willing to speak in every conversation that you may choose to have. We leave of you here, dear ones, in this time of which it is of yours to negotiate into. Be willing to always feel these words to be expressed as love by you. We certainly are great beings, aren't we? To be felt of this encouragement spoken, especially to me in this way. I love to sit in these conversations and these words of encouragement that are always offered to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm always offered many different lessons and aspects of myself to view into. But it is a willingness that I sit into, and I'd love to encourage you to try. For I know at times I have said I am not willing. And maybe that might be you too in this process of getting to know the real you, connecting to your spirited being. That's okay, I have been told. It all unfolds in your own time of certainty to become, to be wanting, to be speaking to Spirit, God, however you would like to call of them to be. But know of this, it is in your sensing of this self that you are to become. Feel freely to accept this love as yours until the time comes that you recognize yours to be exactly this big that I feel within myself. Much love to you all. I hope you have a grand day, and I look forward to when we connect again.